Hello everyone, welcome to Dice on Ice. My name is Em, and tonight is Tuesday, which means Curse of Strahd. We've done this before, you know the drill. This is episode 29 of our Curse of Strahd campaign. This is entitled Reunited. And if you missed the last episode, then quick recap. Father Vitruvius, went into the mysterious tapestry, the mysterious and deadly tapestry, because they had a plan. They had a plan to be able to get Eli and Jean out of the tapestry, and with the help of Gleowin and the Raven Queen, they were going to do this. And they did so. They did a very, very good job. No one else that got out, or that shouldn't have got out as far as they know. And where we left off, Fell had just come into the room where the old tapestry was, and she comes in and she sees Eli and Jean unconscious on the floor. And that is where we are going to pick up. With Eli, you remember jumping into that strange chasm, that strange portal that you had seen Gleowin's face peer through, urging you all to jump in, to get out, to escape this tapestry. And then you remember Strahd, seeing him sitting on a chair and saying something quite definitely troubling, that he was not quite done with all of you yet, and because your souls still belong to him, he was going to put you right back into Barovia, right back where you were. And his words, his warnings, his declaration of power resonates within your mind, Eli, as you slowly become conscious of the cold stone beneath you. That feeling of humidity that you didn't have when you were in that other world in the tapestry. And immediately before even opening your eyes, you know you are back into Barovia. What is your reaction? What do you do when you become conscious of all of this?
I imagine seeing the point of view, having that sort of the world is tilted on its side, my face pressed into the cold floor, and I can see my hand also pressed there, and just feeling the full weight of traveling through essentially a planar gate. And do I have all my gear back again then?
Yeah,
So I'm pretty
absolutely.
much fully outfitted. Okay.
Hmm.
So then I also imagine there's that extra weight of my gear on me that wasn't there before. Ah, push myself up to a sitting position. My mouth is dry. I imagine even my stomach probably rumbling because it's been a while since I've eaten. And I would immediately sort of and just pull the straps off of my rucksack that's actually a wooden chest and spin it around, grabbing one of the open up a compartment in there and just grab some hardtack from the rations and take a few bites, making sure that I can taste it, grabbing at my water skin, washing it down, making sure just savoring the water in my mouth. Okay. All right. All right. We're all right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but for Eli, during the transfer and seeing Strahd, that's the first time he's really had the closest thing to an interaction directly with Strahd, isn't it? The others have been sort of interacting with visions and whatnot. Strahd's just or Strahd. Eli's been kind of going along. I don't recall that I've actually
You have
encountered him.
you saw him when you exited the death house, but that was quite distant. You also had a very faded dream of him talking to you about the gods, but I can imagine for Eli that must have been very, very fuzzy, and it's one of those things in dreams where you're not really sure what happened, losing memory. But this is quite, yeah, you're right. This is quite vivid, and probably the one time you've vividly seen him.
And this is so I think after eating this little bit of food and taking this drink, sort of kind of resituate and start to look around, but inside I'm trying to get a grasp over what I've felt because having regained recently my faith, having this Strahd claim ownership over my soul, and then seeing him follow through on what he said, um, it's shaking Eli to the core. So, with a little bit of an unsteady hand, I imagine just in the water skin in his hand, just sort of trembling a little bit, and then taking my other hand and holding it, and then starting to look around really for the first time to see where exactly am I and who, if anyone, is around me.
You would see Jean similarly kind of waking up next to you, and I would think it would be at this point when you see Fel and Corla rush in.
I imagine kind of helping Jean sit up and the water skin still in my hand, just going, here, take this. You're gonna want it. And then as I hand it, Jean maybe barely getting a hold of it, as that's when I see Fel and Corla. And without even thinking, just jump to back up to my feet and go running to Fel and embrace her. Oh my gosh. Is that really you?
And I think Fel actually from the force of the embrace kind of staggers back a few steps, but then she would sort of hunker down a bit to be more on your level, and then hug you as well. And she smiles widely, probably the first genuine smile you've seen in a little while. And she says, "Yes, yes, it's me. I'm so." And she'll look past you to Jean. "I'm so glad you're both all right." And she'll again kind of embrace you tightly, kind of bury her face on your shoulder for a moment. Are you? And then she'll kind of pull you back to arm's length. Are you? Listen, and just kind of look around, seeing that the tendrils aren't really active. We could go to maybe one of the dormitories here. We're in the church. You're back in the church. I imagine you both need to sit down. This is, and she'll glance back to you, Corla, and smile. I imagine you all need to sit down for a bit. That's fine. Let's get out of this part of the church.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Where's the one that helped us? The monk, the Father Vitruvius.
I don't know if he made it out or not, Eli. I think when he originally volunteered to go in to help you. I am a bit loud. Hang on. 2 seconds. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, not so loud, Phil. Got a bit of a planar hangover. Whatever you did, you shut it off.
Yeah. Test is still loud. What was there was something that I had to do before, something about like adjusting the level or something like that. I think Connor, you might have told me about it one time. I just can't remember.
I have no recollection.
In Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can adjust
Within
it.
Zoom, you can adjust your level, I think.
Okay, I will try and do that. Give me uno segundo.
Yeah, no worries.
Is this better?
Oh, yeah, much better.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Right.
Yep. Thank you.
No worries. But yeah, she'll say when he actually volunteered to go in and deliver a message to you and John, I think, and again, she'll look back to you, Corla, and then frown a little before she returns her attention to you, Eli. I think he understood that he wouldn't be coming back out, potentially. But let's get you both some food, some actual food, not just rations. Maybe some wine, and let's go sit down, and you can tell us what happened. Obviously, come on. And she'll, if you allow her, she kind of starts trying to help you up, I guess, and starts to kind of guide you towards where the monks stayed, or the rooms they gave us when we were staying here in the church.
And even as you're moving, you can feel the presence and the mood and the atmosphere of this place has changed completely. The foreboding sense of this presence of the tapestry, this evil, this darkness, is absent. It doesn't, however, it doesn't leave you with a sense of comfort, but just an abyss, just nothing as you're walking through. And eventually you do get to this area. You notice that since you were gone, the tendrils did grow much further than you remember, and in order to get into the dormitories you'll have to kind of clear away some of these tendrils, but it's much easier this time. It's just kind of like removing some detritus, some dried vines, more than actually removing living things.
Yeah, so I imagine Fel would kind of spearhead that, probably using the silver dagger to cut away most of the tougher tendrils, and then she would sort of usher everyone else into a room, kind of close the door behind her. I just, as far as staying here, I don't know if we should for a terribly long time, but I figured it made more sense than going back to Lady Watcher's house or the Blue Water, because I imagine it's crawling with Society of the Golden Wolf members. So at least here we have a moment, or you all have a moment rather, to catch your breath for a bit. So, but sit down, and she'll start rummaging through her pack. I imagine really she probably doesn't have any actual food either. She just has rations, maybe a little bit of wine left over. That's probably about it.
John is gobbling up water and food, um, just digging into the anything that exists that has a taste. Almost like barely even able to talk in between just munches on whatever food there is, and just kind of in the middle of which would say like, "Oh, tastes so good," just. Mm. She's never tasted food in a long time.
It is good to have you back here. I hope your journey was not too tormenting.
You don't have to talk about it now if you don't want to. I mean, you literally just got back, but like Corliss said, and she'll smile at you, Eli, and then at you as well, John, or John rather. We are very happy to have you both back. Where did the Everchild get off to? Kind of look around. She'll kind of look around for a moment. Is he around at all?
You see that actually, I'm going to leave that up to Connor. Is the Everchild there? Or...
Everchild, as you look, he's walking out of this monastery back to you. He's leaving. And I think that you see him, and he notices that you see him as he turns around to give you just a gesture of a wave as he vanishes into just a pile of a pile of black feathers. They kind of just hang in the air and slowly fall to the ground.
Right. Well, the Everchild was back for a brief period of time, Eli. It was a little strange, but it was good to see him, I suppose. Well, it was, I don't know. But anyway, eat, drink, rest if you need it. There's no rush. Whatever you need to do.
Just in case something happens and I'm not able to tell the tale later, I want to talk now. And I would begin to describe, allowing room for Sean if she wished to fill in the blanks, but basically just kind of relaying to them everything that we saw, that we heard, all the way up through meeting Brother Vitruvius and our escape following, and our surprise at seeing Gleowin's face appear.
I know we had, and she'll glance over to you, Jean. I know we had talked about potentially seeking out the Raven Queen as an ally of some kind. If she made this tapestry, if she made these, what was it, Carla? I think was it a scrying basin and a mirror? Is that?
Yes, basin and mirror.
If she made these things and they are capable of doing what this tapestry did to you, Jean, and to you as well, Eli, I'm not sure she's someone we want to be aligning ourselves with, to be totally honest. But that does sound horrifying. It's a good thing that Father Vitruvius, was able to make it to you with that message. Did he give you the and she'll kind of make like a motion of like a page. Did she give you the page, or did he give you the page, Eli?
And at that, I imagine that for the first time, I would probably realize that it's still clutched in my hand. I've been clutching it this whole time because it was so important. It almost seems confused when you explain it, and then starts to look for it, and then, oh, yeah, this. I haven't let go of it since you gave it to me.
Oh, well, I mean, if you want it back, you can have it. I just wanted to make sure you got it. That's all.
No, it was good. It was a connection, and it helped. And I think maybe I was afraid to let go of any little thing that connected me back to this world, that connected me back to where, well, to you.
And I imagine Fell's kind of pale features color a little bit, and she says, "Ah, well, I'm glad that it was able to help you in that situation. We have had quite a few experiences ourselves, haven't we, Carla?"
That we have, yes.
Mm.
Some disturbing, but
True.
not as much, I think.
Absolutely. And I imagine kind of slowly Fell would sort of retell in a similar fashion to the way Eli did, again, leaving opportunities for Corla to add things in, at least what she was aware of, the fight against her doppelganger, the fact that she decapitated something which she has never done before, venturing out with Father Vitruvius and the Everchild to Berez, the encounter with Marina and these other women in the village, meeting Gleowin and Eden, saving Arabelle on the way to Berez from that fisherman who's trying to drown her in a lake, and just basically all of the events leading up to them returning to Vallaki.
Yeah, needless to say, we were not on time for Lady Watcher and her condition, so there is that.
I'd say we were dealing with rather extenuating circumstances.
Hopefully she sees it the same, but it still means that there is fake me and fake Jean running around somewhere.
Well, and I imagine, given everything that has happened, especially to you two, Jean and Eli, that we can take a day, you know what I mean, to figure out what it is we want to do and to just sort of exist for a bit. I mean, as much as anyone can here in Barovia, and then we can figure out what we want to do tomorrow. I think you may have mentioned, Carla, that your doppelganger was seen in the theater here, so there could at least be one of them still here potentially, but I don't think anyone, at least I know I'm not, and I imagine two aren't either, are in any real condition to go chasing after a monster right now. We have time. I mean, we've already breached the terms of the contract. What's another day?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm not very keen on sitting idly by while anything that has to do with the one they call the Devil Strahd lingers out and about this world. The one thing I didn't tell you was when we made the final transfer back from the tapestry into this place. I saw him. I imagine Sean saw him too. Maybe not, but I did. And he said he laid claim to our souls. And I could tell that he meant it. And he said he was going to put us back here, and he did just that. I don't know if his intention was to try to put a fear into me or try to show his dominance over me, but all he did was fan the flames. I've been following along with you on anything that had to do with this Strahd person without any real connection to him or truly fully understanding who he was or what he's capable of. And I can tell you that's changed now. I'll rest with you if you need to rest. But I'm ready to go if you're ready to go.
Fel will look to Jean and Corla.
I wouldn't mind going perhaps for a walk outside. See the sky. Feel the grass on my boots. Hear the sounds of this place. There's a lot to think about here, especially what we saw down there and what we saw coming back and what this place has for us. Sorry, I can't answer your question right now. Well, what exactly we need to do. I haven't figured that out. I might go for a walk this evening or this morning or whatever time it even is in this place. Looking around for a window to even get some semblance of time.
It is the same gray that you have seen. You might have thought that coming back here might give you some semblance, because at least there is a day and night cycle, unlike where you were with the tapestry. However, when it is daylight here, it is just gray.
Yes. A lot of things have happened. A lot of strange things that I can't even make sense of. What is this nature of this Raven Mother? What is that tapestry that we imprisoned in? What was that creature trying to join us in our escape? What purpose did it serve? Who is that tapestry made for? What are we even doing here? What is this land? Who is Strahd? Who was that golden elf at Dreamlake Castle? Who is Madame Eva? I don't know the answers to these things. I think that we need to know those answers to know what to do. It's not a very good answer. That's all I am.
What do you think, Corla? Do we take a day to contemplate things? Do we jump right back into... She'll sort of gesture towards the window, all of this mess.
Fel, I know you have just got Eli back and would like time. But this
What was that little head movement for? What was that all about? I mean, we got Eli and John back. It's Anyway, continue.
This mess out there will not stop, will not wait for us. It will just get worse. And this place is depressing. And frankly, I would like to get home. And I am like Eli. I am not wanting to wait around and just have things happen.
Well, I suppose we could always try and talk to the Vixen and see where your doppelganger is, and try and take care of that situation. I don't know if it's even still here, because it was here when we left for the village, but that was a few days ago. And we have no idea where Jean's doppelganger went, except for that it went south. But we could certainly do that if we want, I suppose. I just feel like and in a way, I agree with Jean. We have been through some very interesting times recently, some much more interesting than others, and not in a good way. It never hurts to stop and never hurts to stop and consider what our next move is. All we really have is Madame Ava's Taroka reading to guide us, and the hope that if we kill Strahd, we will be able to leave. And even that's not guaranteed. But if that is the path we are taking, then we need to find some way to convince Lady Watcher to renegotiate our deal so that we can get the Sun Sword from her, this weapon from her that she has, because that was one of Madame Ava's clues.
Jean?
Perhaps Lady Watcher will be courteous enough to understand our disappearance. I imagine if we brought back the heads of the creatures, she would have no reason not to comply with their deal. I found it odd that there was time limits put on that contract. It's strange. Perhaps we go hunt those beasts down, bring her their heads.
Hunt first, talk later? Is that what you are saying?
It is.
I can get behind that.
So can I. Monster hunting is a little bit of a hobby for me.
I could definitely use something to drink first, something very, very, very alcoholic. So let's do that, and then that's fine.
So your intentions are to get a drink. Did you want to talk to do you want to seek out the vixen first, or are you just wanting to go and hunt down your doppelgangers?
I mean, if we're going to the Blue Water, I mean, that's kind of the Society of the Golden Wolves, like, headquarters-ish. So they might even be there, be able to get a message to her, so we could talk to her and see if there's any updates on the doppelganger's location. Kind of kills two birds with one stone.
All right. So you can all make your way towards the Blue Water Inn. Jean and Eli, you notice when you step out how much of a difference there is in Vallaki. Even in the short time that you had been in this tapestry, you see that all reminiscence of the tent of any circus, anything, has been taken down, has been removed. Many of the buildings were intact, just covered over by the cloth, so they are still there, and you see normal looking market stalls and people walking around. You see guards in what is to you would be recognizable chainmail, though you see that at one point many of them wore many different sigils of families, their crests, but as you are walking, you really only see one, and that you recognize as the Lady Watchers. You also see on all of their plates not only the Lady Watcher's sigil, but it has now been slightly altered to have the picture of a golden wolf intertwined within the family sigil. And as you're walking, you still get dirty looks, whispering behind your back, but none of the outright throwing things at you or jeering your name that you had before. But you can see that people are still quite upset, quite feel betrayed by the actions that you yourselves did not do, but by those who did, wearing your face. Eli, you still see the remnants of people who have these horrible blisters and boils on their faces and scars upon them, coughing, wheezing with sickness. And you make your way to the Blue Water Inn. And as you enter, perhaps this is the largest change that you've seen. That this is no longer a simple tavern, but now has more become a garrison, almost. You see members of the guard with these crests on them. They're all sitting around. They're all moving and talking and speaking. This place is much fuller than you saw it before, but it seems to just be full of these guards. What do you do when you enter?
How do the guards react when they see us enter?
They are, here, I will roll. They seem to be, they seem to be drinking. This is still a tavern, but it is just very much overwhelmed by these guards. And they're drinking, they're talking, they don't really pay you much mind. And you do see a couple other people who aren't guards. They're very few. You see some Vistani people, and actually you even probably recognize not Jean and Fel, and Eli, but Fel and Corla would recognize some from the camp, where you had saved Annabelle. And they're around and they're talking with the guards and it seems like everyone's just talking and having a merry time, and no one really pays you any heed.
Fel will lower her voice a little bit just so it's not super audible, but audible enough that the others can hear. We had Irina and the children from the St. Andrew's orphanage come here. I'll grab my drink and then we could go and try and find out where they are, make sure they are all right. Does that sound doable? And then we can go hunt a monster, I guess.
Yes, I like the idea of checking on the children.
Right.
How would I do that while you get your drink?
Okay. By the way, and actually she'll look at you for a moment, Corla. Did Irina say what happened to Lancelot? I don't think I've seen him since we left or since we've come back. Did he go somewhere?
Oh, never mind.
I think.
Are you looking
Corla-
for Lancelot around you, Em?
Yes, sorry, I need a few.
Where's my dog, Em?
You asked for Lancelot, and Em's like,
oh, he's right here.
Just have a little stuffy.
Linsky, what have you done?
I'm just looking for paper.
I think Corla just looks at you, Fel, and doesn't really say anything because I don't believe Irina told us.
So Irina told you, Corla. She didn't tell anyone else. She had kind of pulled you aside and had told you that in this midst of this tapestry just exploding on everyone, Lancelot had ran off out the front door.
Oh, so okay, so he's run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, so Corla would just be looking at Fell, not really. I must find the children. I'll be back.
All right. And Fel will sort of watch Corla go for a moment, shake her head, and then look to Eli and John and just say, I'll be right back, I guess, unless you want to go with her. I'll meet you all wherever they're keeping Irina and the children. Do any of you want anything? I know, Eli, you don't like the grape water, but maybe some ale or something else?
Anything made from hops and barley will be good by me.
All right.
Or made by the honey of wildflowers. I'll take mead over the wine.
You'll drink something made from the honey of wildflowers, but you won't drink wine anyway. Jean?
I don't drink wine. Just some water will be fine.
All right. I guess I'll get some wine for Corla. And Fel will start to move towards the bar.
And you see the bartender, he's there, and just as you had seen him before, he almost robotically is cleaning a already very clean glass, as he doesn't even look at you when you approach.
Doing a very good job cleaning that glass. Right. So anyway, I need maybe just kind of thinks about it for a moment. Maybe 2 bottles of wine, and do you have any ale, pot of ale, something like that?
You just see him nod, and he moves over to the back, and he's gone for a moment, and he comes back with some cups and mugs and sets them down in front of you.
Okay. Yeah, and Fel will kind of gather all of these items up as best she can, and then she will, I guess, kind of glance around, see where Eli and John are heading off to, or where Corla headed off to, and just sort of head in that direction.
Looking for a table.
Yeah, you can find one. You probably have to. It's a longer one, and you probably would have to share it with some of the guards. Actually, in fact, if you are looking for a place that doesn't have guards seated there, there is a table that is a larger table and is only seating 2 men there. They look quite different from the others. They wear an extensive amount of furs and pelts on their body, and they one of them seems to has a pretty wicked looking bow stationed beside him. So if you'd like to sit there or by the guards, It is up to you.
Yeah, whatever's closest. And I honestly don't see Eli being, unless anybody like gets in his face, having any issue with anybody. So yeah, I'm just looking for a table closest. Look, we've been through a lot, and I need a drink.
Yep. Okay. So I will say that beside the pelted men it's closer to you, to the bar table. So, and as you said, they kind of look up at you and nod in a greeting.
Evening, morning, maybe, I don't know, it's hard to tell with the sky. Anyway, and Fel will just start pouring out measures of drink for, I guess, really her and Eli. She'll probably just pour some water out of her skin for Jean. And yeah, she definitely fills those things up to the top.
Are you new? You hear one kind of look at you for a while before he says that.
Not so much. It's just hard to tell the time because the sky is gray all the time.
No, I do not recognize your face.
It's probably a good thing. Takes a long sip from her mug.
You interested in wolf pelt? And you see him, like, he, without a hesitation, he just, like, plunks this huge wolf pelt in front of you, almost spilling your drinks.
No. And she'll immediately start to, like, stabilize the drinks as much as possible, trying not to spill a single drop. Nope, thanks. Wow, that's a giant pelt. I don't think we're in the market for wolf pelts. Just kind of look over to Eli and Jean. Right? Not in the market for wolf pelts.
No.
And they just, like, shrug, and he removes it, and they continue to drink. Corla, where are you headed?
Away from Fel, actually. But and then she's looking for anybody part of the, I guess, the crew, the Vixen's people. She still has the amulet, the little pendant on, and so she's kind of wandering the room, heading toward maybe the back, and trying to find anyone that may know what happened to the children.
Yeah, I think that you would see at least someone who is within the Vixen's inner circle. So you can go up to her if you would like. Yeah, you do recognize there's one woman there who you remember seeing quite a bit with the Vixen.
Yeah, I would head towards her. And probably interrupt whoever she's speaking with, not waiting for them. Just the children. Are they safe?
You see the woman kind of stop and look at you, and there is a slight look of recognition, and she just smiles just enigmatically at you. Well, it is nice to see you again.
You too, but the children, are they safe?
Yes, the children are safe. They're staying, the toy maker, Blinksy, has so wonderfully offered to lend his home to the children.
Blinksy.
Yes.
Blinksy has the children. And this is a good idea?
And she just pauses. I mean, what better place for children than a toy maker's house? It is quite large. It's more than enough room.
And I think without even saying thank you or anything, Corla just turns around and eyes the room to find out where John, Eli, and Fel have gone, and beelines over to them.
As she approaches, Fel just kind of holds up this very full mug of wine. For you, Corla, did you figure out where Rena and the children were?
I think she grabs the mug from you and grabs the bottle off the table, and we go now.
Whoa.
No.
First, what are you doing with that bottle, first of all? Second of all, why? Where are we going?
Blinksy has children, and she walks out the door with the bottle and the mug.
Fel's going to grab the other bottle of wine, look to the other two. This is why I wanted to stay in the church and rest for like at least a day, because this shite always happens. I hate this place. And she gets up and she'll follow Corla out.
John will follow afterwards.
All right. I wanted to get moving. I guess we're moving.
So you're just heading straight towards Blinksy's toy factory.
Yeah, I think she. Well, how far away is it?
Well, I mean, it's on the outskirts of not the outskirts of town. It is it's not that far. It's about maybe a 15-minute walk.
Oh yeah, then she would be definitely heading that way. Not really waiting to see if Fel, Eli, or Jean has followed her.
And, of course, you get there without a hitch. You can see that the lights are still on in the factory. And it is quite a large building, one of the larger ones in Vallaki. And you see that the front, at least the front bottom portion of this building is... you can see that candles are lit in the windows, and in the windows are these toys that are on display, but I suppose in the candlelight it gives them just this very eerie look about them. And on top you see a very, very faded wooden sign that is painted that says Blinksy Toys.
And I think once Corla's about maybe 20 feet from the front door, she just kind of stops, realizing that she still has the mug in her hand and the bottle of wine, and she would just down the mug, and then maybe at that point look back to see if anybody has followed her.
Yeah, I imagine she'd probably see Fel first, just like at this point she's completely abandoned the mug, is just like taking swigs from the bottle at this point. As she approaches, she just says, "So, did they also say that Arena was here, or just the children? Whoever it is you talk to."
We did not ask if Arena was here.
Oh, man. All right. We should probably do that at some point, but anyway. Maybe he knows where she is, especially since, and again, she'll kind of look around. Does it seem like anybody's paying attention to us, Em? Anybody's watching?
Not directly, no. If you would like to make
indirectly.
Yeah. Everyone. No. If you would like, you can make me a perception check.
I shall.
Okay.
That is a 12.
You just see the same of some people kind of giving you dirty looks, and but really not only because it's you, not what you're doing.
Only because they hate you, not because of what you're doing.
Exactly.
So yeah, Fel shakes her head and says, Strahd wants Irina, obviously, so it might behoove us to be a bit more aware of where she is. But again, we can ask them when we resolve this. I guess we should just knock, see if anyone's inside this creepy toy shop. After you. She kind of nods to you, Corla.
I think Corla would just go when looking at Fel, and then kind of just storm up the stairs and start banging really loud, obnoxiously, and for a long time.
I mean, so as you walk up, you do see the sign says open on it. So if you would, do you still knock, or would you open the door?
I still really want to knock. No, but she'd open the door.
You hear the jingling of bells as you open the door, and you hear a voice in the back. "One moment, I will be out there soon." And a few moments later, you see Blinksy, who is the only person seeming in Vallaki who is still in the what looks to be this jester circus attire. "Oh, it is you, my friends! Welcome, welcome!"
Yes. Where are our children?
"Oh, yes, of course, the children. They are up that way." And he just points upstairs.
Corla's gonna go up the stairs.
Whoa, hold on. You can see.
You know what, Blinsky, it's totally fine. She just wanted to make sure they're okay. So no worries. Question: was there a woman with them? Dark-haired woman with them?
Oh,
Older?
Irina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Is she
yes.
up there too?
Oh, yes. She takes care of the children.
Perfect. You know, it was so kind and generous of you to watch over them like this. Would you like a drink? And she's gonna reach back into her bag, pull out the mug, and pour out a little bit of wine, like a half full cup. She's gonna hand it to him. Do you drink, Blinsky? Just a little bit of, you know.
Oh, well, I am working right now, but maybe just
Well, you can
just
take
a
break.
sip.
Yeah, just a sip. Here you go. Just kind of like push the mug into his hands.
Yeah, Blinksy would take it and just kind of take a sip. And Corla, as you're walking up the stairs, you see that there is the stairs that go up to the second level. And as you walk, the door is closed. Do you open it?
Yes.
And as you open it, you see that there are children. There are children running around and playing, and you can see that this area is quite large. There are many different rooms, but you can see that this has been quite hastily built. Furniture has been brought in, beds and desks and various dressers and anything like that has been kind of hastily brought in and kind of shoved into every nook and cranny of this already pretty full room. You can already see that there's many paintings, all of them of dolls, many different kinds of dolls, just everywhere. But the children are there, and pretty soon you do see Irina, who comes in and just, Corla, I'm so glad to see you.
And before Corla answers Irina, like Corla has been looking at this room and doing a rough head count of children and faces to see if any are missing.
From what you can tell, everyone seems to be accounted for.
And
there might be a few who you can't count, but who you can hear kind of in the other room. Like, it just seems like there's the correct number.
so kind of at this and seeing, and they look healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All the tension and anger that has been in Corla since she left the blue water, kind of just, you can see it just melt from her shoulders, and she kind of just sighs. Irene, it's good to see you. You are okay here.
She kind of has like this very tight smile. Blinksy has been very, very kind to us here, providing us with everything we need in such a short amount of time.
He has been kind, and I'd like to do an insight on Irina's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that would be 16.
So, with that, you can see that there's something bothering Irina. Her smile's a bit too forced, it looks like.
You are not telling whole story. What is wrong?
Perhaps we should go talk in another room. Follow me.
Okay.
And she would lead you. Meanwhile, downstairs, Blinksy is talking to... unless any of you follow upstairs?
I'm probably going to stay down here and keep an eye on Blinksy.
Belle's
And-
going to get drunk with Blinsky.
And Blinksy would turn to you, Eli, and he's like, "Oh, you are the great, great, great Eli! It is so good to finally see you. We didn't get to meet the last time, and Blinksy was so sad." Blinksy almost cry. You didn't get his toy, you didn't get his shirt. And, and he runs to the back room and comes back, and he comes out with this, hat, that is quite, it's very nicely made. It's made out of leather, but it's rather a wide-brimmed hat, and he comes to you, and I made this for you because I felt so bad that you did not get to have my gift, so I made this for you. Here, take it. It looks good. I didn't get the exact head measurement, so I had to guess. And he shoves this hat at you.
I'm having trouble reacting to him just because he's so high strung, high energy, and before I know it, I've got this hat thrust into my hands, and it's a leather wide brim hat. You said?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'll kind of look at it, look it over. All right. And I'll see if it fits.
It's a little big. But it fits.
You look dashing, Eli. Very dashing.
At that, I'll just turn to Blinksy and just kind of smile, a little crooked smile. Well, thank you. I'll tip the hat. Much obliged.
Meanwhile, back upstairs, Irina has brought you, Corla, to another room. I can't remember. Did you tell Irina about all of the dolls that you found in the Velikovich's house? I don't believe you did.
Believe we did. I don't think we wanted to freak her out that much.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think so. And so as she brings you into this other room, she... Corla, now, don't worry. Blinksy has been so kind to us and the children. He has already made each one of them toys and anything that they could ever want. He's been so kind.
But I'm hearing big but.
Well, he had a bit of a reaction when he saw me.
Like what kind of reaction?
Did you know that... one of the Baron's henchmen, I can't remember his name. Whoever he was. Yes. He's like, did you know that he was making toys that had my face on them?
Blinksy was making toys, or is it?
Blinksy was making toys for Izek.
I knew, yes. We saw them.
Why didn't you tell me?
I did not think you needed to know how weird.
You didn't think I needed to know that some strange man was wanting my face on a doll?
It was much more kind for you to think that. Did not worry you unnecessarily. We did not want you to get yourself in trouble. Well, we were not there. We were going to take care of problem, but of course we did not. And then, then this tapestry thing happened, and then we had to run. Never mind. It is all water under the bridge, as Eli would say, I think. But he is just obsessed with you. And you now know. But is that all that is making you upset?
I mean, that is pretty odd. and I
It
don't
is
know.
very
You
odd.
just hear rumors about how those things that looked like you, they looked like dolls. I don't know. I don't know. It's nothing concrete. I it's difficult for me to take this gift from Blinksy.
What gift? He make you doll too?
Well, he made everyone dolls, but I mean his hospitality.
He made all children dolls?
Yeah,
Of
every one of them.
themselves?
I think so.
I'm not liking that at all.
I mean, that's just gossip, right? All of these doppelgangers and you and their doll. That's tell me, Corla. That's not true.
And Corla is going to lie and say it's not true.
All right, make me a deception, please.
That would be a 13.
She looks relieved when you assure her that it's not true, that it's all just gossip, and I knew it was too good to be true. Thank you, Corla. You haven't heard anything back from my brother yet, have you?
Corla's getting a little bit uncomfortable with all these questions Irina has been asking. And she's like, no, we have not heard yet. We are still looking and waiting, and there's been so much happening here.
Yeah, I understand. No, it's all right.
We did get Eli and Jean back. So we are making progress. But
Right.
listen, Irina, I am worried for you. I'm worried for children. I am glad you are here with them, and I am glad you are all safe. But if anything, promise me, if anything makes you uncomfortable, you leave with the children immediately.
She nods. I will.
Thank you. And I think with that, Corla's going to turn around and go back down to where Fel and Eli and Sean are.
And you see that Blinksy has insisted on resizing Eli's hat to ensure that it fits properly. So you see that there are all these like pins kind of stuck in Eli's hat as Blinksy is muttering to himself, Stupid, Blinksy. I should have known. I'm sorry. I have never seen your head like yours. It's so small but large at the same time.
It is a little lumpy, to be fair, Blinsky.
Well, that's the door for you.
Right. Yes, that's what dwarf, of course. You see children, they are happy, no?
They are happy. Yes.
Good. Did you also by chance come to buy some of Blinksy's toys? Like Blinksy asked? And he looks hopeful. He kind of takes a step back and just looks hopeful at the others.
I don't have any money.
You know, Blinksy, coin is a little tight right now, unfortunately. So, no, we just came to check on the children. I'm curious though, who exactly dropped them off here? Did they say who they were? Or... basically just told you, hey, here are some kids and a young woman, take care of them, please. And that was about it.
Oh, no. The vixen came by. And she was talking about what had happened and how they couldn't take care of them at the Blue Water Inn anymore. And I offered Blinksy have big heart. Blinksy have more than enough room. He will take children.
All right, I suppose. Phil's gonna take another long drink.
Blinksy is a bit sad that you did not come to buy toys, but Blinksy is happy to see you. You come again soon. As he's finishing up the hat on Eli. Just there, done, fixed, perfect, like a glove or a hat.
Like a glove hat.
Okay, well, if there is nothing else, Blinksy begins to kind of rearrange some of the dolls that are sitting on his shelves.
I just want to ask one quick question. Like when it's been a while, when the doppelgangers all kind of went loose, did we still have our dolls, or did the dolls disappear at the same time?
The dolls disappeared. Yeah, the
that's
dolls
what
were not there.
Blinksy, before go, why you make dolls?
Well, I make dolls because look at them. They're so they capture people in their likeness so greatly that they never go away, you know. And he's like holding a doll, and they're fun for children, and they just bring joy to people, no matter what is going on in your life. Toys bring you joy. It makes you feel like child again.
Why you make dolls for us that look like us?
Oh, because you are new. You have done so much. Everyone is talking about you. Why would I not have people who look like you? I mean, not recently. Listen, Blinksy, don't judge. Blinksy, make toys. Blinksy thinks you are great.
Corla is going to incite him, not to incite him, but do an insight check on him. She asks, but why does he make the doll? Why did he make the dolls for us?
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
So that will be a 21.
He seems quite genuine. That I think he would also add that he makes toys for everyone, for all the townspeople when he sees them, and he seems very genuine in that he just wanted to make toys that look like you.
Do you put something special in toys? Make toys do
Yes.
things?
Yes, I put something very special. Do you want to hear my secret?
Yes.
Closer. Come here. And he leans down. Sorry. And he just whispers. He's like, I put love. What is love?
Is it real thing, like tangible? Or is it like just kiss it? What?
No, I put the time and effort. Where did you find her? Do you not know what? face expression.
So Blinksy, sorry, wine. There, have you ever heard of one of your toys coming to life? I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like coming to life and doing horrible things to people. Does that sound familiar to you at all?
Oh, you're talking about the rumors that have been going on around you. No.
Yes, I will. I mean, not to cast any aspersions, but I had the distinct displeasure of being very close to my doppelganger for an extended period of time, and it did have joints very similar to, and she'll gesture towards one of the dolls hanging in the windows, to these the hinged doll joints. Is that? Do you have any idea why that might be?
No. I thought that was just some rumor. You know, everyone. There is someone down the street who I think is also trying to make toys. So I thought that he was just trying to discredit my business. But if it is true, no,
That's a 19 insight check.
he seems quite genuine.
Damn it.
Quite genuine that he has absolutely no idea. His look of shock is quite genuine as far as you can tell.
Do you have any idea? You said there was someone down the street that might want to discredit your business. Is he another toy maker, or what does he do?
Well, and he kind of lowers his voice, looking around, kind of like conspiratorially, and he makes coffins. But I don't believe him. I think he's making toys. I see the paint, and I see the wood that he uses. That is not coffins. Those are for toys.
All right. Jake, do you remember, did Eli mention to the group that Father Lucian suspected the grave digger or the coffin maker of stealing the tapestry or trying to steal the tapestry? He left like threatening notes on the steps of the church. Did you mention that to everybody else, or was that something that you just kind of kept to yourself? I can't quite remember.
I don't believe that Father or that Brother Vitruvius let out that information.
Oh no! So this is something that Father Lucian would have told Eli. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He said somebody had been leaving threatening notes. In the church.
Yeah. Sorry, this is what happened.
You're playing too many characters.
and I had notes for Vitruvius of what Lucian told him or what he knew, and so yeah, I think anything like that Eli's been told, he would have told. At the very least, he would have told you.
Okay, so yeah, Fel will kind of again. I imagine she's weaving just a little bit, and she kind of locks eyes with you for a moment. Eli kind of arches an eyebrow when he mentions the coffin maker, and then she'll look back to Blinksy. So, what is the coffin maker's name, Blinksy?
That is. Blinksy would know straight away.
This man is trying to ruin your business, Blinksy. You should know the name of your competition. Damn, this wine is good.
Oh boy. Da. I am looking for the name.
No, you're good. By the way, I love that medieval cover of that song that you posted in the chat, Connor. So good. Baby, don't hurt me.
Yeah, those are the new hotness right now. Medieval covers.
Yeah,
of
medieval covers.
Songs,
Mm-hmm.
Well, of any song.
Yeah. Lady Dance.
Yeah, I didn't have the name in my notes either. I just had that.
Here we go.
Somebody was threatening.
That scoundrel. His name is Henrik Vandervoort.
Vandervoort?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yep.
Maybe we go pay this Van der Voort a visit, and see if maybe he has some I don't know, some interesting objects, I suppose, that could potentially be used to animate these dolls. I don't know. I think we tried to. Sorry, Blinksy, but we just had to be sure. We tried to open them before, and there was nothing in them but love. So that's a good thing. We just maybe we should go talk to him. Just to cover all our bases.
You should. You tell him. You tell him that I know his secret. I know what he is trying to do.
Discredit your business.
Of course. I'm the only toy maker here.
That is true.
I think that would be great business, and nobody else thought so, but I think that they secretly think so.
Gotcha. Combo coffin maker, toy maker. I definitely see the business opportunities. All right. Then unless there's anything else, I should look to the others. Maybe we should head out.
Yeah, and Corla would just nod to Fel. And I think as we head out, before Corla leaves, she would grab one of the little toys. It's probably like a little dog that's got like a wooden dog that has moving legs. And she would turn back to Blinksky. I'll take this one.
Oh, very, very, very good. That will be 1 silver.
And she would toss it to him and pocket the toy dog.
Excellent. All right. See you soon. Don't forget your shirts.
Not a chance that we would ever forget those very eye-catching shirts. Thank you, Blinksy. See you next time. Phil's gonna follow Corla out.
Excellent. And so where are you headed now? To the coffin maker or somewhere else?
So, I don't know how I feel about the children and Arena being with him. I mean, even if it doesn't seem like he was lying about what happened with us and the toys that he gave us, but I don't know if this can happen with us. Who's to say it couldn't happen with Arena or with one of these kids?
I am uncomfortable with it too, but he is not malicious, and I think Frey right now is probably best place. People know that they are here. If they go missing, people will know. So for now, maybe best place. They are fine upstairs. They were happy and laughing, and it's cramped, but he looked like he is at least taking care of them.
What do you two think? Fel will say she looks over to Jean and Eli.
Well, I'm inclined to think that if Corla thinks everything's all right, then we probably ain't got much we got to worry about. Well, at least as far as the children are concerned. We got plenty to worry about on our own. And I think they're going to be all right. That Blinksy, he may not be all there, but he seems harmless enough.
We need to find the one who made the dolls of us, not dolls no more. And we need to find us and deal with that. Maybe this Heinrich is known. Maybe it's just Blinksy talking through nose, but I don't know if you want to see him.
if he is doing something, there might even be a way that if we could get him to stop, maybe he could return the Korla doppelganger and the Jean doppelganger to being dolls again, and then we wouldn't even have to hunt them down. I mean, I imagine technically Lady Watcher did say that, or I think it was the Vixen actually that said they wanted their heads, but if we can provide them some kind of assurance that they're not a threat anymore, do they really need all that? I don't think they do.
Or at
Rachel,
least-
we
Oops, sorry.
actually listening to this Linksy fellow?
I mean, do we really have any other options besides this? And she'll gesture to you, Eli. This Vander Vort person, this whatever his name was, he's threatened the Church of St. Andrew's before, which was the one halfway decent place we've found since we've gotten here. It wasn't actually full of traitorous bastards. It was just full of somewhat decent people, which is a rarity in Barovia, apparently.
All right.
So you're on your way to the coffin maker's shop? Okay. As you're walking, you find your way there in the general direction that Blinksy had pointed. The place looks very dark, there's lattice work on all of the windows, and the door is closed, and there is a sign that is in the shape of a coffin, and the sign on the front that says closed.
Is this door that Korla goes knocks on and be obnoxious?
I think so.
I mean, maybe you could try something a bit more subtle, a bit less obnoxious. You've done it before.
But we know not if this guy is if he really is suspect or caught up in any of this.
Fair.
Don't feel right. Just, breaking in house.
Fair enough. Yes, go ahead and knock.
So, Korla, as you knock on the door, you hear a muffled voice from the inside shouting, "We're closed! Go away!"
I can read sign, but open up anyway. Knock, knock, knock.
"We are closed! Come back tomorrow."
No. Of utmost urgency. I can do this all night. Knock, knock, knock.
You hear silence.
Okay, I can't do this all night, but she'll continue to do it for a while.
Yeah, and you just hear silence from then on. No no muffled sounds.
But I can hear my knocking, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't normally condone this kind of thing, but given the situation as it may be, will you excuse me a moment, Korla, and I'll sort of gently push Korla to the side.
Oh.
And I'm going to grab hold of the door handle, and I'm going to pull as hard as I can, trying to pull the locked door open. Or push if it's a push door.
It would be a push door. So you're trying to force it open?
Well, yeah, then I'll put a hand on it, and I'll just go, it'll be all right. And I'm just going to shove my shoulder into it.
All right, make a strength, please.
Athletics or straight strength?
Straight strength.
Right? Well, apparently I was more tired from the tapestry than I thought. That's a 6.
This is a very solid door, and I do think that from you putting your weight into it, it feels like it is reinforced, as in it might be barred from the inside.
So here's a wild thought, since Corla is not comfortable with. She kind of makes the lock-picking gesture. You know what I mean. Maybe we come back tomorrow, and in the meantime, we try to find Maeve, the vixen, and see if maybe she has an idea where Corla's doppelganger went. Unless we want to just blow the door down.
Connor, does Corla know what Jean can do?
I think we saw it in the.
We all saw it
Baron's
in
house.
the Baron's house. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think Corla, watching Eli do this and not getting a response, you would just turn to Jean. How about you do it? You can get in, and nobody would know.
And let's say I do get inside. What am I looking for?
You probably want to let us in first.
Or see something suspicious happening. What's inside? Like, if there's a bunch of coffins and everything looks normal, then maybe it was just what's the word? I don't know. Red herring or something. Bluefish? I don't know.
Herring is awful. Continue.
Or if inside is like workshop of toys. I don't know.
Right. Jean looks around at this house. Is there like an open window or anything like that?
There are no open windows, and you can see that there is like an iron lattice over top of them.
So I guess is there a place where airflow happens?
Sure.
That kind of open window. Yeah.
Oh, like a very okay. At the bottom, even at the bottom of the door.
Yeah.
There's probably a very small gap.
Perfect. You would see, I guess, like Jean like roll her eyes almost as she dissolves into smoke right in front of you, becoming just a pool of smoke on the ground. And she casts gaseous form, turning herself into some mist and smoke.
All right.
And I'm going to fly into the house through some opening.
All right. And as you enter the house, that is where we are going to take a break. So, thanks everyone for watching and the players, and we will be back in a few moments. So, stick around and see you soon. All right, we're back. And Jean, you are
A ghost.
a ghost. And you are mist. And you enter into this workshop. And you, upon entering, you see rows of workbenches with variety of tools and woodworking. You see a pile of wood in the corner, a very small pile of wood. Farthest from you, a half-built coffin, seemingly very normal. You do see two doors, one that is immediately to your right, and another one that is to the right a bit further down. And you do not see anyone who is in this room at the moment.
I'll just kind of float around, making sure there's nothing strange or eldritch or spooky going on the workbenches.
Sure, make me an investigation roll, please.
It's going to be a 12 on the die for a total of 13.
You do not see anything out of the ordinary. All of them look like typical woodworking tools, a lot of them very large, and perhaps maybe you weren't looking, but you also note that there are no small woodworking tools like you saw at Blinksey's place.
Yeah, she'll just kind of glide past this and go past, I guess, you said there's two rooms?
There's two doors. There's two doors. One that was immediately to your right when you came in, and then one a little further down.
Yeah, she'll go to the first door.
Okay. As you open that door, you see that immediately to your left is a set of stairs going up to a second floor. And in this room, there is a table with 4 chairs in the one corner with a lantern hanging from a chain directly above. 2 well-made cabinets stand against the east wall. The cabinets are, if you look into the cabinets, these are just kind of packed with bits and pieces and ends and just very random bits.
Yeah, I feel like Jean has almost seen enough, but she will entertain the last door. Did you say there's stairs going down as well in this place?
There's stairs going up.
Yeah.
And as well, when you come in to this room to the north, there is another door. So that you got stairs and a door.
Yeah, she'll slip underneath the cracks of that door then.
To the north, this room is quite large. 35 feet by 40 feet, this room. And it is full of coffins. Just kind of haphazardly strewn about the ground.
And this all checks out, and she will kind of fly back to the main level, into the second door, and slip underneath its cracks.
So you would see that when you slip under the door into this room, to your immediate left, you would see a door in this larger room, and that you would know, just from orientation, that this door is the second door out of the workshop that you had seen, that you did not go through. So essentially, it's just kind of a circle. Yeah.
Giant donut. Yeah.
Yep. And in the middle is the stairs going up.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, she'll pay this almost like no other thought. She's seen enough, and she will kind of trickle out of like some window or something into the back of the house.
Make me a perception check, please.
That's a total of 16.
You do hear talking in the floor above you, just whispering.
Oh, then she'll eavesdrop for like a few moments to figure out what the conversation's about.
You hear the muffled sound of who you recognize was the man, the sound of a man, and the sound of a woman speaking. And you hear is everything set for tomorrow? Yes. Everything is in place and it will be ready for you. And what about my payment? You will get your payment when you have done all that you need to do. Just be ready in the center of town. Midday. Or, sorry, not midday. At the stroke of midnight. That is all. And from what you hear, it's just, you hear just shuffling. And from what you can sound, someone is coming back down the stairs.
I'll slink my gassy body into some shadowy corner, even like behind a closet or something. I want to catch a glimpse of this second person's face.
In fact, you see a man coming down the steps. The man is old, gray hair, with a long white beard that comes down, but otherwise not nothing unusual about his look. He just looks old, and he wears a leather apron. He kind of hobbles down the stairs.
Does a second person follow down the stairs even anytime later?
No.
Then I will glide up the stairs then. Go to the place they were talking.
So he cleans up, and you can hear the front door beginning to open. The rest of you, are you all just standing in the front door?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, if Sean disappeared inside, I think there was an expectation that she would open the door for us. So
Yeah.
we're just kind of.
God, this feels familiar.
So the door opens, and perhaps you were expecting to see Jean, but you see an older man with the leather apron. What are you doing here? I told you to leave. We're closed.
I told you I would be here all night.
Well, then
So
you will be.
here I am.
Well, then you will be waiting for a while. And he closes up shop and begins to walk down the road.
But I just want to ask you questions, and maybe we'll follow a little bit.
It is late. I am old. Please just let an old man sleep for once.
But you are outside in the streets.
You have until I reach my home. What do you want to know?
Are you making little toys to compete with Lynxie?
You hear a laugh devoid of joy. Very, very cynical laugh. You are bothering me with the paranoid ideations of that idiot. No, I am not building any toys.
Do you take toys and make them into monsters?
You are bothering me and my time. Please leave me alone. These questions are ridiculous. No, I am not making them into monsters. What does that even mean?
Insight.
Yep.
Oh, that is a 25.
Yeah, he has no idea what in the heckle Stilton you're talking about.
I'm sorry, what?
Heckle Stilton. It's a thing. For M.
Yeah, you know.
I'm trying to figure out if that's an M thing. Is that a Canadian thing?
It's just something that I said right now.
All right. I'm making a mental note. Heckle Stilton.
Very
Homebrew monster in D&D.
Heckle Stilton. Oh, God.
skin.
I think I'm joking. I'm grabbing a fresh piece of paper.
So, yeah, he seems irate and frustrated and just has no idea what you're talking about.
We are through here. I just wanted to make sure. I had to check up on it because if I didn't, things would go crazy. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I did what I came to do. You are fine. You are free. You are not suspicious at all, and I will be leaving you now. Have a good night. And she will walk away.
He just kind of grunts and keeps going down just muttering to himself about just stupid, bothering me. Jean, you float up the stairs, and you see that the voices were seemingly coming. As soon as you're at the top of the stairs, you see two doors on either side of you. From what you could hear, it sounded like they were coming from the left.
Yeah, I'll follow.
So you go through this door, and you see more coffins. However, some of them are open, and some of them have people inside.
Now, neither me nor Jean are that much of an expert on the profession of undertaking coffin making, but I don't imagine that you'd keep dead bodies in your own workshop or in your own pantry. So Jean will continue to kind of suspiciously inspect this area even further. The bodies seem recently dead, long dead, stinky, etc.
They do not stink. You do not smell death at all. They're just very pale. And you do see one woman sitting on a table with a goblet, sipping from the goblet as she just looks around.
Do I recognize this woman at all?
No.
Well, I will. Is she looking away from me or towards me?
Away from
direction?
you at the moment. Yeah, looking away. And she's sipping at her goblet.
Is she standing? Is she sitting? Is she doing anything? Looking at anything?
She's sitting at the table. No, she's just looking at the window that is covered up with wood. It's kind of boarded up. A few streams of light fit through, but not much. This whole area, you can see that there are a few windows like this, but the only source of light is from candles.
Yeah, interesting. I'm just going to triple check some abilities that I have. The gaseous form spell, it has a total duration of an hour. So Jean will linger in this room to get anything suspicious out of this woman, if she can. While lurking in some dark, probably even literally beneath the shelves the coffins are on.
Sure.
I can fit anywhere.
Right. Yeah, the woman sits there for a while, seems to finish the goblet, and then lays down in an empty coffin and closes her eyes.
Upon that, Jean will mystify herself through the house, out any kind of crack to the outside world, maybe through a slightly ajar window, appearing kind of behind the house or something, and reconstitute her form before returning to the group.
Okay.
So, what did you see? Corlai's. Oh, there you are. How did harassing the coffin maker go?
Well, he is not one that did anything with dolls.
Gotcha.
It's not him.
She'll look over to you, Jean. Did you find anything?
Yeah, I did.
No.
You did.
Do tell.
And she's in a really, really, really whispered, hushed tone, right? With her voice directed away from the house, kind of like, making sure that no one else can really hear it. Probably like has you leaning close. Coffin Maker has some guests. There's a woman who he was talking to. Said, I overheard them speaking of a meeting that would happen tomorrow at midnight. This doesn't seem particularly suspicious. It could seem a bit out of the ordinary, but no reason to really intrude upon that kind of thing on such a whim. The next part, however, this woman, she laid herself down in a coffin. She was done speaking to him. And lo and behold, so were some of these other coffins filled. I don't know many things about undertaking and the coffin making profession. I don't imagine you keep corpses in your own workshop in coffins that are not in the grave.
Right.
How many?
You saw 6, including the woman.
6 coffins or 6 people?
6 people.
Or 6 of them.
That's a lot.
I fear that this probably has no connection to the Blinksy toy issue.
Mm-hmm.
But as things always are, the more we snoop around places, the more other things we find wrong.
True enough.
Yet let's add this particular query to our long list of things that need to get done in this case.
And do you not recognize this woman? Or
I've
any
never
of
seen
the
her before.
bodies?
None of them.
Curious. But is it have anything to do with us?
They did not notice me. They did not speak of us. The only conversation I overheard of them talking was of their meeting tomorrow at midnight. So perhaps that's something we want to eavesdrop upon. It's the center of town at midnight. That's what they said.
So maybe it's the wine talking, but we seem to have this habit of, as you said, Jean, sort of skipping all over the place and getting involved in all of these different things, which is not. It's not bad necessarily, because I think, and she'll kind of glance around to everyone else for a moment. I wouldn't assume to speak for any of you, but I like to think of myself as a decent person, as someone that would want to help people if given the opportunity. At the same time, we, as I said before, we have met so many traitorous, murderous monsters that just so happen to look like people in this land. I'd say, again, she'll lower her voice, Irina, maybe Ismark, her brother, Father Lucian, of course. They have been maybe the 3 halfway decent people that we have met since we got to Barovia. And again, Jean, you may have met others since you've been here longer than the rest of us. I don't know if we can take on 6 of whatever these things are. I don't know if we should. I don't think eavesdropping on their meeting is a terrible idea, but we can't solve every problem here. Our goal, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is ultimately to try and leave this place so that we can get back home, wherever home is for all of us. I'm not sure if getting involved in every little thing is a good idea.
For once, Phil, you and I are in 100% agreement.
We agree on some things, right?
Yes, but this time, 100%.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Though that is my opinion. But if you all think we should do something else, I'm not opposed to it. My concern is we are going to, somewhat like what happened down in the Valakovich family crypts, we're going to stick our noses into something and we are going to lose someone. And we literally just got back together after everything that's happened. And she actually looks at you for a moment, Eli, and you see that her pale features go a little paler. I don't want to lose any of you after we just got back together. So that's all I'm saying.
This is what I would like to suggest. I have some suspicions about those people. I wish to eavesdrop upon them tomorrow at midnight. I find myself not being able to sleep well either these nights in this place. So it would be just something for me to do during the night. Go about our business otherwise. But if it leads to something, if my suspicions are correct, then they must be burned.
I see this means lots to you, so I will watch with you. I will eavesdrop with you in case it goes sideways like always has. I will be there for you.
Sure. I guess you could do your meditations before the evening is over. Join me.
Yes.
Let the people who need sleep do the sleeping.
Eli, you have that I'm going to say something contrary to what everyone else is saying look on your face, so you might as well just get it over with.
I'm not gonna go rushing in like some kind of damn fool.
Thank you.
But I want to go on record as saying I'm not too keen leaving behind a potential enemy at our back. But this seems like a good plan. And I'll be there with you tomorrow night too. And this whole time you can see Eli's got his hand just resting on the grip of righteous indignation. Just sort of, it's still in the holster, but his hand is just sort of clenching and unclenching. He was really hoping y'all would want to go in there and deal with this, but
I mean, I can literally turn invisible, when I have time to concentrate. So I could be there as well, Jean, with Eli. Maybe what we do is we try to rest up tonight, maybe during a portion of tomorrow, and then we get up in the evening and try to eavesdrop on this meeting, see what's happening. They say where it was going to be. I said a stroke of midnight, but where at stroke of midnight?
And if I'm not mistaken, it's center town, correct?
Yes.
The only reason I said for me to do it alone is so that we wouldn't be putting too much attention to this, because we need to find these doppelganger monsters. Doppelgangers, excuse me. Doppelganger
Close
monsters. Doppelgangsters.
Doppelgangsters. The only thing is, I mean, all of these doppelgangers have usually taken, well, at least the one we encountered. Have we really only killed one? Is that, wow, that's, feels like we've been at this for a while. Anyway, but the doppelganger, my doppelganger that we faced, it honestly, it required myself, Corla, the Everchild, when he was with us, and Father Vitruvius. So I don't know if it's possible for two of us to take one on. That is something we could look at, though, is potentially trying to, again, talk to the Vixen and figure out if Corla's doppelganger is still in the city. Because it doesn't sound like we're going to be leaving this place anytime soon, though it would be wonderful if we could, because the city has been fairly awful so far, even by Barovia's standards.
I mean, we have whole day, the rest of today and whole of tomorrow, so we can just take care of fake Corla and, I mean, it's all good, right?
True, but the thing is, if we're going to be, I mean, Jean may not need or be able to sleep. And I know as a full-blooded elf you can trance, but for me and Eli, just being up the entire day tomorrow and then waking up at midnight the following evening to be involved with this probably before midnight, it's going to be exhausting for us.
It'll be all right.
You sure?
Spent more than my share of restless nights.
Right. So stroke of midnight to, well, it's late now. What time is it right now in game?
It is. I would say it's
midnight.
Getting... No, yeah.
3 seconds before midnight.
No, I would say it's probably like mid afternoon.
Right. So if it's mid afternoon now, maybe we try and get to the Vixen and circle back around and see if she knows where Corla's doppelganger is and resolve that, since clearly you didn't see anything that looked like a magical implement, Jean, that could be used to turn dolls into monsters.
Well, I found a strange like altar with like some dolls on it and some like strange, soul monger style tubes of soul energy, but I didn't think anything of it.
Funny. You're funny, Jean. I don't remember you having jokes before you went into the tapestry. Anyway, so we should, I guess we should circle back to the Blue Water, unless you all have any other ideas. Finishes off the bottle of wine she was working on. Because I am feeling perfect right now.
So you guys head back to the Blue Water Inn, and
Yes, so.
when you enter, in fact, you see the Vixen speaking with someone else, going over some sort of plans or something. Her back is to you at the moment.
I guess I'll handle this. And Phil kind of stumbles forward a little bit and kind of taps the Vixen on the shoulder. Yeah, got a second, Maeve?
It is the Vixen, and you will refer to me by that, and nothing else. And as you see the Vixen turns, and you see this, her mask is even, like, she's wearing a full mask right now, as before it was only kind of a half mask that covered up some of the welts and everything that you saw peeking out her, but this is a full plated mask now as she turns.
Is everything all right? Your mask got bigger. She kind of squints at it for a moment. Definitely bigger than it was before.
I am not sure what do you mean by fine. You left, and you left the job to us to get rid of Corla.
Did Corla, the actual Corla, not explain to you why we were leaving and what we were doing?
Oh no, she did, and I told you the consequences. And there were some. I want you to roll me a d20, please.
Oof. That's an 11.
We did take care of Corla. We couldn't leave her and waiting for you to show up. So we took care of her. We lost 11 townspeople. And that is not even to mention the members of my guard who were lost.
And for a moment, Fel's sort of drunken veneer kind of falls away, and she looks a little, I guess, more sober, a bit more somber as well. And she says, I'm sorry to hear that, but we have hopefully prevented many more deaths by getting that tapestry taken care of. I mean, I imagine you saw the tendrils coming out of the church, but I am sorry for your men's losses, I suppose. But we were coming to you actually to ask if you had the Korla doppelganger's location, but since that's been resolved, have you heard any news about the false Jean? I know you mentioned it was heading south before. Have there been any updates since then?
Mm, yes, you won't like this, though.
I mean, is there anything likable that ever happens in Barovia? But anyway, continue.
Our spies have seen Jean go into Strahd's castle.
Right. Okay. So definitely not going there. Shut. Is Lady Watcher was gone for a little bit. Is she back in the city?
She will be back the day after tomorrow. There is something else you must know. The young Victor. She looks down and back up. It was not my decision, and I was outvoted. He was too much of a threat to the power being reinstated right now in Vallaki. And she just kind of nods and trails off.
And I imagine, Korla, you see something that's a little familiar, probably disturbingly so. You see, as Fel's just sort of standing there processing all this, you see her shadow start to bulge as this shape starts to emerge from her shadow. You see these two kind of motes of teal-colored fire, these fangs of teal-colored fire as this dog-shaped shadow starts to emerge from Fel's own shadow. But after a few moments, she sort of twitches her head and it sinks back down into her shadow. She lets out this breath. Is he? What about his mother? Is she still alive?
The vixen nods. She did not put up as much of a fight, and because of her father, she's been kept alive so far.
I guess when Lady Watcher gets back, we need to talk to her about potentially a new. And Fel seems very scattered at this point. We need to talk to her about some kind of new agreement. We need to get that weapon from her.
Yes, the Sun Sword.
Yes.
She knew that you would be coming back to decide on new terms, and she placed that onto me.
All right. Did you have something in mind? And she'll actually look back to you, Jean, for a moment. I think I might have something in mind, depending on if you think it's valuable enough.
And what is that?
Well, I'd much rather hear what it is you're interested in first.
This town is in ruin at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a long time to build it up, to gain the trust of the people who are very hurt. We do not need another incident than what we had. Honestly, I am unsure of what you can still do here that would be of any help.
So you want us to leave? You give us the Sun Sword and we leave Vallaki?
She kind of tilts her head to the side, just... It is something I am considering, as well as making good on your previous promise of hunting down Jean.
I don't know if that's going to be possible for some time. We're not going to storm into Strahd's castle, not by ourselves. We would die, and then we don't help anyone. So if you want us to leave, grant us this weapon, maybe a map of the valley so we can find somewhere else to go. And again, she'll look over her shoulder at the others, kind of clench her teeth, and then look back at the vixen. Then we'll leave.
My mind is not made up yet. What did you have in mind? You said you had a thought?
There may be something going on with a... give me a moment. And she's going to kind of, a little unsteadily, kind of wobble back to her companions and just say, did you all hear all of that, I assume? So I was considering telling her about this meeting that's supposed to happen, maybe with the Vixen's men there. They could get to the bottom of this instead of just potentially the four of us. And she actually smiles, and this, I imagine it's a little sad, but at the same time, there's a small amount of relief in it. She wants us gone, potentially, and I don't blame her, but we can't leave without that weapon. If we provide her with this information, we could potentially get the weapon from her and we could leave. And then we can maybe find a map, buy a map here, and then find somewhere else to go.
If we tell her about the meeting and she thinks it's worthy to put guards there, then what is going to... Why would they still have meeting with all the guards around? If they're doing something nefarious, they would disappear. It would not happen, and then we would look like we were lying to them, and she would not believe us. And then,
I mean, her people can turn into animals, Carla. I mean, we saw the boy Peter can turn into a raven. I imagine if these people see a raven, they're not going to immediately assume it's a person and call off their meeting. I assume she has more subtle methods.
Jean?
We could do that. Seems we're being pulled two ways.
I mean, not really. If you think about it, they don't want us here anymore, and they have something we need. So, and I haven't told her any of the details about what you learned, John. It's just, this is really the only bargaining chip we have at this point. And if it's enough to get us this weapon and a map, then we quit this town and find another one. Keep following Madame Ava's clues.
Okay, well.
What do you think, Mr. Contrary Opinion? She kind of smiles a little.
Well, you might find this hard to believe, but I'm in agreement.
It's nice feeling having people agree with me every once in a while.
There's a fair number of very capable people able to deal with these things. You're right. We can't let every little thing distract us from our bigger purpose. And if we can get a hold of that weapon, that is one of the things that Madame Ava laid out before us. So that should be our focus.
And I'm not saying that we can't help some people that we meet, and she'll look over to you, Corla. We helped Arabelle get back to her father on the way to Berez. But some things are just bigger than us, beyond us at this point. It won't always be that way, but it is for now. So anyway, I will go see if that is sufficient. Is there anything else I should ask for potentially, or anything I should withhold that you all think of, or that you can think of? By the way, sending in the tipsy half-elf to negotiate, excellent idea. You all are you're on it right now. Whew!
You're a better talker
I am.
Than I am.
Fair. But anything I should withhold? Anything that you all can think of?
No. Be truthful with them.
I guess the one thing, so if we leave, that means we're going to be leaving, and again, she'll lower her voice, arena here potentially. Is that, I mean, Is that all right? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, especially if we try to come back here. I imagine we aren't going to be welcome.
And we still do not know if the other dolls will come alive at some point, and we are leaving Irina with a man who was obsessed with her.
I thought it was Izek that was obsessed with her.
He is still in town.
Oh, I thought he wasn't he imprisoned or something?
Yeah, imprisoned.
Oh, okay.
And we did talk to her when she first told us in the Church of St. Andrew's that he had been paying visits to her. We did tell her not to talk to him, so I imagine she's going to steer clear of him, especially now.
But what of children? Just
Right.
leave them here?
I mean, if we try to take them with us, are they going to be any safer? Probably not.
No.
I'm not sure there's a right answer here, to be honest.
Talk with the vixen. She may not even like what you say.
Fair. All right. And she will make her way back over to the vixen. So, first of all, I would like to see the weapon, if you have it handy.
Right. It is back at the Lady Watcher's house, but we can go there. It might be quieter.
All right.
And she would leave, assuming that you follow. She leads you all the way back to...
We run the other way. No,
Yeah. Haha, sucker!
Sucker! We got away scot-free.
She leads you back to the Lady Watcher's house, and after a moment of you waiting in the same parlor room, she comes down with a kind of a folded piece of silk, and she would, after uncovering this piece of silk, you would see a sword that is within its sheath at the moment.
Would you mind drawing it? Just so we can make sure it's intact, doing what it needs to do.
She nods, and she draws it. And as she does so, you see that as soon as she begins to draw the blade, you see a brilliant white light emanate from the blade itself. As she totally unleashes it, it ignites the room in this brilliant color. It almost feels like the sun itself is in the room, a light that you would never see, you haven't seen in so long, and you can almost feel its warmth as it is drawn. And just as quickly as she draws it, she re-sheaths it. Is that good enough for you?
And I imagine there's a little bit of moisture in Fell's eyes since it has been so long since she had seen the sun, and then she sort of wipes it away and says, "Aye, yes, that's fine. Damn." So, tomorrow night at the stroke of midnight at the center of town, we have reason to believe there is going to be a meeting between Heinrich van der Voort, the coffin maker, potentially, and 6 individuals who, again, she kind of looks over to John and then looks back to the vixen, may potentially be vampires of some kind. We don't know exactly what they're planning, but I imagine it is not good. There was, did you hear them mention anything specific, Sean? Like exactly what they were planning to do? If there's any payment involved or anything?
There was a deed done by the coffin maker, and the payment would be in order.
So it's good.
The only thing suspicious about this is their nature as the undead.
So some kind of bargain, something is happening tomorrow night at midnight. It might behoove you to have those that can turn into birds like Peter watching the center of town. And if this information is sufficient, we would very much like that sword, perhaps a map of the valley, and then we will leave to grow stronger and potentially pursue the Jean doppelganger to Castle Ravenloft.
You see the vixen narrow her eyes at you for like behind the mask as you see. That is good information. I have now come to my price to get this sun sword. We cannot have these creatures around, especially now. People are already suspicious of the current power and scared that with the Baron dead, that Strahd will come back. Of course, we all know that he has always been here. But the citizens do not know that. And if they see or hear anything about this undead, this cannot happen. And so we will need to head them off. The meeting will not happen. You will lead us there, and you will help us dispatch of these things. And then you may get the sun sword, and then you will leave Vallaki.
That's fine, I suppose. My only concern with that is if we march up to the coffin maker's shop with your men, it's going to be rather obvious what we're doing. If we wait until the night of the meeting, we might be able to catch all of the conspirators at once by surprise. I don't know if that's going to be possible if we do this particular thing, but if that is your price, I suppose that is your price.
She turns to Jean. They did not see you, did they?
They did not. They don't even know about us.
Then they have no reason to expect us. If we go in with 5 of us, then they will have no reason to suspect anything.
Only 5 against 6 of them? That doesn't seem wise. If we're going to do this, bring as many men as you can. If you're not willing to wait, I suppose.
There's an easier way to do this. Right?
It
Involves knowing for sure that they are what do we say they are. But if it is true, you'd burn the house down. First, get Coffin Maker out, keep him safe. It can be an accident, we can even say. They will not suspect it. They will be sleeping in their coffins. They'll be overtaken by fire before they can even react. That's how we get out of it alive. How we make sure that they stay dead.
That is a good idea. We will go at midday tomorrow.
All right.
We shall not burn down a Coffin Maker's house without a very good reason.
Yes. Even if we make up the lie, there will still be rumors, but it will be better than having the townspeople see their deepest fear.
Fair enough.
All right. Then we will all meet at the Blue Water Inn tomorrow. Unless you have any other concerns.
I'll look over to you, Eli.
this is gonna sound really weird, but can you roll an insight check? Fell.
Okay.
Oh, me?
Oh,
Shit.
Yeah, fell. Sorry.
I thought you were talking to May or to Em. I was like,
No,
why?
no, no,
why are
no.
you making our dungeon master roll an insight check? Wow, that's actually really good. That's very apropos. That is an 18.
Yeah, Eli is not saying anything. Is gritting his teeth. You see his jaw clenching and unclenching. The idea of burning somebody in their building helpless is triggering a bit of PTSD for Eli. He's not saying anything, but I imagine if we're standing, his knuckles are turning white, gripping the butt of his pistol. If we're sitting, they're turning white, gripping the chair. He's restraining himself, just dealing with this. The idea of burning somebody within a building like that is a problem for him.
Yeah, Phil will actually kind of hold up one finger, kind of wobbles a little bit, and she'll say, "Could we just have one moment?" And she'll look to you, Eli. "Could we step outside for just a bit? Just 2 seconds. We'll be right back."
of course.
And she'll start to walk, and then she'll pause at the door, kind of looking back at you, Eli. She'll nod to the door.
Takes a deep breath and heads out the door, perhaps a little more brusquely than you would have expected.
Yeah. And she'll kind of close the door behind him, sort of standing outside for a moment. You know, this is one of the reasons why I suggested that we take a day, because this is a lot for you to handle right now. I get it. These people, these things, they're potentially monsters. John's right. We should probably make sure first, but we're not talking about burning Vandervoort in his home. We're going to make sure he's not there. It's only them, the creatures in those coffins. So I'm not going to say don't worry, because that's stupid here. We worry about everything, but we're going to try and minimize the damage. Does that make sense?
I understand what the intention here is.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on board with dealing with these monsters face to face. I always prefer to deal with things when I can look them in the eye, or when I know for a fact that they're evil, that they are a monster. And I'm not saying they're not, and I'm not saying they're not going to use, that proper judgment isn't going to be used. I understand all that. This is my own demon I got to deal with. But it just struck me how quick and cavalier, so matter of fact, everybody was about just burning them in place. And you can understand why that's a problem for me. But
I can. So 2 things real quick. First thing, and she, if you will allow her to, she kind of gets down on your level, and she will kind of wrap her arms around you. She's going to kiss you if you will allow it. And there's a surprising amount of heat behind it, which may take you a bit by surprise. And she pulls back. She lets it linger, though, a little longer than that first time before the tapestry misadventure. And she backs off and says, I was fairly certain for a while there I'd never get to do that again, so I figured might as well get one in before everything goes to shite. Secondly, I hear what you're saying, and I've told you before that unless I am brutally incapacitated, I will have your back. This is not a demon you have to wrestle with alone. And honestly, and she kind of glances back towards the house, even though you told me she'd react like a cat that's had water dumped on her, I talked to Corla, while we were trying to figure out a way to save you and John, and she surprised me. She offered me her friendship. She said that she would not leave me behind, and I assume that extends to you as well. She is a good person, a bit bloodthirsty, but a good person, and she's not great with the knocking thing. But you don't have to do this alone. And you have people that care about you very much. And I would rather make sure that you and Corla and even Jean and the Vixen were safe before facing these things head on in a situation where we may die. I literally just got you back. Don't ask me to let you face 6 of these things just because of what honor, because it makes you. This isn't. She kind of holds up her hands. This isn't Greenest. This is a different place. I apologize if it seems like we're being too cavalier, but these things could hurt a lot of people, Eli. A lot of people. We're just trying to make sure they don't.
I know that, Phil. And that's why I'm not up in that shop driving stakes through the hearts of those creatures at this very moment.
Right. And
I know this is the right thing to do, and I know that I don't have to face this alone, but you can understand why it's difficult, but
I do. And who knows, they may, I mean, fire is destructive, obviously, but they're potentially, and she'll lower her voice, they're potentially vampires, Eli. They might survive. You might get your face-to-face confrontation, whether you want it or not. It's just this way we, like the Vixen said, we take them by surprise. We get the jump on them. You know, it's like hunting in a way. You know?
It's more like hunting than you realize.
I
don't do it. I don't want to kill them because I have a desire to fight them, because I have a need to be violent towards these creatures. I do it because I have to.
I know.
Because we can't leave monsters like this behind us. But I also know when there's a better hunter. And it kind of just motioned vaguely towards the house and the Vixen and her people. And I know sometimes a hunter's just gotta stay home. You can't go out hunting all the time.
True.
And just in case there's any confusion, and Eli would just kind of pull you back down to his level and kiss you again and just say, you can do that at any time you want.
And she actually looks a little surprised, but then she smiles and she says, "Fuck, I missed you. I'm so glad you're back." Right. We should. Are you good to head back inside?
Yeah.
All right. Lead on, fearless leader, and she gestures back towards the door.
So you walk back in, and the Vixen looks at you. Is everything all right?
Everything's all right.
We are on board, as it were, for midday tomorrow.
All right. She just pauses, and she... I am sorry that things had to be like this. You leaving, it's just... With everything that has happened, the people are wondering. There are some voices who would like me to arrest and hang the lot This is the best that I can do. I hope you understand that. That being said, and she nods to Corla and she nods to the pendant. We made a promise. You're one of us, bestowed by another. If you ever need any help, shelter, I cannot give you Vallaki free on the streets anymore, but if you need any help, we will be there.
Corla would just nod. Thank you. I wish things had turned out different, but sorry, the chat.
No, the chat, sorry.
Damn it, Jake.
Hey, I heard what I heard. I heard Vallaki street treats. Maybe I'm a little hungry.
She just nods. All right. Midday tomorrow.
I suppose, and shall I actually look to the others? Do we want to stay in the guest rooms here, or do you have room for us, Vixen, in the Blue Water? I don't really know if it matters, but it might be easier to coordinate if we were all in the same place.
The Lady Watcher has extended her house to myself, so you are more than welcome to stay here. The Blue Water Inn is a little full, if you had not already seen.
Fair. Who was it that decided to turn it into a garrison? Was that the lady? Or you?
Well, there were many people. The previous one was small, and it got destroyed. Lots of people were very angry and very excited after the word of the Baron's death got out.
True. All right, just curious. I guess we'll bunk down here for the night and get this taken care of tomorrow. And then we'll be out of your hair.
Very good. And she nods to the rest of you, and she is going to take the sun sword. As much as I trust you, I want to make sure that everything goes well tomorrow.
Probably wise.
She just nods and she leaves. And so, what are you guys looking to do then for the rest of the day? And then we can talk about tomorrow, next session.
I mean, if we're going to be staying here, wherever, I would spend some time looking around. Maybe if there's one of these. Actually, with all of the circus tent stuff gone, maybe there's some left in the ground. I'm looking for some wooden stakes to replace my wooden stakes that are.
Oh yeah, yep.
That were missing. So, I'd be looking for. I don't know if the kit specifies how many are in it, but it's like 4 to 6 wooden stakes. Whether I have to break some furniture legs from an abandoned house and sharpen them, whatever it is. But if you'll allow that, I would like to procure some wooden stakes.
I would see absolutely no issue. Like you said, like especially with you said, with all the tents gone, you would have no trouble finding wooden stakes.
Okay. I'm just going to look up the Monster Hunter pack and see if it says what's in there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much. And then I would also spend some time making some more gunpowder and bullets for my pepper box.
Right. Perfect. Yep, you can also do that.
Well, the Monster Hunter pack itself has 3 stakes that are normally in it. Will you allow me to have 6 in my wooden chest?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Who else is doing anything? Or what?
Jean is going to go join the vampire coven to take over Barovia.
Perfect. Okay. Next. No.
Orla's gonna sneak out after Jean and wrestle her to ground.
The evil members of the party. But no, I imagine Fel. I mean, she probably has what she needs. She probably maybe even go with Eli to get some wooden stakes, just to have them effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe fill up her wineskin. Basic stuff.
Yep. Yeah, if you guys want to go out and like refill everything, since you guys are probably gonna be kicked out tomorrow, yeah, just you will all be allowed to restock on rations and anything else that you think you might need. So yeah, and if there's anything special that you'd like, I am just going to say, just from like a meta standpoint, this is probably going to be the last big town you're in for a while. So if you want to have anything made or anything or buy anything like that in terms of armor, we can talk outside of the game.
I want to get Blinksy dolls of everyone in the town.
Okay.
Yeah. All 400 people in the town. And make that my armor.
Just go Lady Gaga, just like
Yeah.
dolls.
You've got Blinksy Beanie Babies as armor.
Yeah. All right. Okay, cool. So if that's it, then you guys will sleep the night at the Lady Watcher. Now, Jean, correct me if I'm wrong. You do not need to sleep, or do you need to sleep?
I've been having her as a bit of an insomniac. She has trouble sleeping.
Okay, but she still needs to sleep, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so as you all bed down after getting your various odds and ends and restocking and
Actually, could I do one last thing real quick?
Sure. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like 2 seconds. So I imagine kind of as it's getting later on towards the evening, Eli, you kind of hear a knock at your door. You hear Fel's voice. Hey, Eli, you got a moment?
You said it's evening?
Yeah.
I'm not doing this to be clever, but I think Eli would open the door, and he's stripped down to his breeches. He's shirt off. He's got a little bit of like the gunpowder on his face. He's been working tinkering. I'm saying that's what he would be doing.
No, it's fair. It's fair. And I imagine you would see Fel kind of her eyes widen a little bit. You see she actually has like a blanket, like a bottle, and then Flint's spell book, as well as like a little stub of charcoal. She kind of looks at you up and down for moments like, right, okay, making bullets, I see. So listen, I don't want to impose because I know you have been through a lot. I was wondering if I could, really, it's more for my own sanity than anything else. I just have this like tiny suspicion that I'm going to go to sleep tonight and then wake up and Corla's going to be there shaking me awake, and I'll still be by the side of the road on the way to Berez, and you'll still be in the tapestry. Would you mind, just kind of hesitate for a moment, this would be so much easier if you had your shirt on. Would you mind if I stayed in here with you tonight, like in a chair, So what I was going to do, just kind of hold up the wine and the book. I was going to do what I do at home back at the Daggerford estate. I'll just get a book and a blanket and a bottle of wine, and I'll just drink and read until I pass out in the upstairs or downstairs library. So if that's cool with you, that would be great. You should really put a shirt on, Eli. It's distracting.
You really talk a lot when you're nervous.
Yes, I do. Did not expect shirtless dwarf covered in gunpowder. I guess I should have. That's my bad, I suppose. I'm not kicking you out of your bed or anything. I just, again, chair. Me. Sleeping in the chair.
You don't need to sleep in the chair. And you're more than welcome. to stay here.
You sure?
I'm sure. And Eli will just push the door closed, pull you in and push the door closed.
All right. And yeah, she will. I imagine she actually does exactly what she said she was going to do. She literally just like lays in the bed, drinks, and reads, occasionally marking like sigils and runes in the spell book. It almost seems like she's taking Flint's research and using it to sort of understand her own magic, even though it's a different kind of magic, I assume, than what Flint was using. Yeah, she'll just sleep. She's not gonna, do anything. Just
No, and I think
pass out.
Yeah, and Eli would take the chair and kind of maybe pop his feet up on the bed and, continue to work a little bit, and then eventually would drift off.
And as everyone begins to drift, Jean, eventually you do as well, though it takes hours and hours. But as you do, you see yourself walking down a long corridor. Stone flanks you with fiery sconces dotting the walls, creating light. A red carpet is laid down the hallway in front of you, and as you open the doors, you see what looks to be almost a throne room. The red carpet keeps going down onto a step of almost like I believe it is like a dais. Is that what it's called when it's like a raised platform?
Yeah, like a dais. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on top of it is a grand chair, a throne almost. You would see Strahd himself sitting, kind of head propped up on his, with his hand almost in a bored position. There are others who are trying to speak with him, other people, and you would recognize one of the women from the women that you saw in the house. Not you, though. You didn't see that. But you have the memories of another you that saw this. And that look of recognition goes in, and you walk down, and you bend a knee in front of Strahd, head down, in a salute of just you feel your own words come out of your mouth, Jean, and you say, "Your will are my actions, my lord. What will you have me do?" And as you look down and you kind of open your eyes, you see the joints of your knee are different. They come together as almost a wooden piece. A hinge comes together. And as you look back up, you see the wicked smile of Strahd. And that is where we will end. So, thank you, everyone. This was a great session. It was good to be back in Barovia. Good to have Karen back with us for this session. Thank you, everyone who's watching, and the chat was absolutely great tonight. And thank you to my wonderful, wonderful players. It is I love this campaign. It's so good. The players and the actions that you guys do, and I love it. It's so good. So thank you so much for being involved in playing and making this a great Tuesday. So next session will be on the 7th. So, thanks again, everyone, and that is all. And we will see you next time. Have a good night.